I'm coming in today, I'm like, geez, are we going to do 3 hours of
doom and gloom?
This team's in trouble?
Right.
So the one thing I was thinking about is, let's talk about what we're really talking about. Are we talking about, because this is very disappointing if what?
If it continues.
Well, I was thinking it's disappointing because the goal is to win a back-to-back title.
No doubt.
All right, so do the expectations need to change? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that would be a nightmare.
It's not like
that's waving the white flag.
Okay, but let's just say hypothetically, look at this roster. That's not a championship team. They keep it together though for the season. They're 500 or they're 45 and 37, but they don't run the table because they're not as good of a team as they were last year because they had everybody healthy in the playoffs last year. I mean, if this team ends up being a 6 seed, we may look back at it at the end of the year and say, yeah, that's about what they were. That was, they didn't underachieve because they weren't really a championship team in the first place. So I kind of just, I don't want to judge. I said this about the Niners. It's like, well, man, if they don't win a Super Bowl, does that mean it's the year stunk? And I guess, if we're talking about the Warriors like that, I guess we have to talk about the Warriors because. Yeah, but I don't think they're going to win it.
Yeah, you had 2 of those. You didn't appreciate that's too strong. You didn't think the timeline with Trey Lance, it was Super Bowl or bust. You didn't think that was fair. And then when Jimmy came back, it was like, okay, I get that. But I'm sorry, Steph Curry is being wasted through umpteen games. And this is not football or baseball. One guy can almost get you there, especially if you're defending champ. You just got it done in June. Steph is balling his ass off right now. So the questions aren't, I overestimated Looney. I overestimated Dre. Something's going on with the closeness, the unity of this team, and it could be prime example, Draymond hitting Jordan Poole in the kisser, and maybe we just underestimated the fallout from that. And then 2, Klay Thompson. I love you, Klay, if you're listening, but do you feel like he's being handled correctly? Who's going to tell me they have given Klay, and you can say he's earned it, the license to jack up shots left and right? That's affecting the team, Steiny. And if they're not going to speak to him, then it's nothing to see here. And they're telling us this is par for the course. A brother going to work it out. But nobody's saying that into a microphone. Has any reporter asked Klay, do you think you're shooting too much? Can you dial it back?
Somebody asked Curry that last night. Take a listen. On holding Klay accountable.
It's a tough balance of trusting him to do exactly what he is capable of doing, what we know he's capable of doing, being himself in the sense of Klay Thompson shots have always been, ones that you wouldn't tell anybody else to really take because of his skill set and the work that he puts in. And he's had, slow starts before in seasons, but the biggest thing is, again, I tell JP this, tell Klay this, tell myself this, you have to let the game come to you. Especially when teams know if you start get going, we're tough to beat, and they're probably going to have the heightened sense of awareness early in games, early in quarters when you're out there to try to take it away because they're afraid of what Pete Klay looks like. So just let the game come to you. Have some a little bit of patience and trust in how we play as a team and creating good shots. His presence out there changes the game just with his 2 feet on the floor. He requires a lot of attention no matter what the numbers look like. So it's going to come. Just trust it.
I mean, that's it. I mean, he said, he just told Klay everything he wanted to tell Klay. Let the game come to you. Have trust in the system. Don't try to do it on your own.
So will we see a different Klay tomorrow night? I'm asking.
I have no idea.
Because there could be, you could say Steph subliminally, Steiny, and he could have been saying, let it come to you. Does that mean you might be shooting too?
Of course it does. Let's put rats on the table today.
But is Klay going to process that? And I didn't come in here to rain down on Klay. I just can't ignore the rat on the table. He's letting them fly.
I think Klay's an issue, but I think there's a more of a team-wide issue that is playing into everything.
You go in that huddle where he said Drew League? You think they're playing?
First of all, they had
truly?
terrible body language last night.
Dude,
the entire team.
Man.
Klay Thompson was moping again, hanging his head. The bench is unenthusiastic. The young players are unenthusiastic on the bench. All right? And Klay Thompson's bringing the team down right now. That's part of it. Yeah, of course it is. He's bringing the team down right now.
So is that here I go.
And by the way,
do you think that's have an impact on Poole?
By the way, Draymond Green, please
what?
Kiss my ass with effort. He was a no factor last night. He played with no emotion at all until Ayton got in his grill with 3 minutes left. I don't know if you watched Draymond Green last night. He wasn't complaining about fouls. He wasn't in the huddle saying we got to.
Yeah,
he was checked,
and he ain't
out
did a podcast either. So maybe we don't know the fallout from.
So, and that's kind of what I mean. I mean, like I don't want to single Klay out. Steph Curry's defense has stunk this year too. Wiggins' defense is completely average. Like
they're getting killed by dribble penetration.
And they're also getting killed on closeouts. Are terrible. Steph Curry and Draymond Green both yesterday. So slow on closeouts.
Yeah, no, everybody. Even the commentator said it.
Klay can't defend.
So what do you do? Where do you go from here?
And only the Warriors know how bad this is.
You know what? And that might be your walk-off. We'll bring you in here.
12:15.
But you will bring you in.
I'll tell you what, I could get around in if you sent me home right now.
I'm shocked, Steiny. And to bring up that graph, I don't know if you saw, of worst starts by forget roads, home splits, the worst starts by defending champs. They're right up there with the Miami Heat, and Evan told me there was one more team I forget, but we can
probably the Bulls.
The 99 Bulls. We can say this is nothing, but if you said, Guru, you got to tell me what you really feel. I don't fake passion with you. You know that about me. I think that punch divided the team. Some don't want to speak up, some never will. And this is what we're seeing, man. Because now if you're telling me Draymond's been neutered or tame and he's not being demonstrative, and maybe if he is, guys are like, whatever. Like, maybe that's what's going on with Poole. But I'm tired of changing the diapers on Poole in this sense. Oh, because you're not starting. That's why you're not balling.
We don't know that.
But my point is, it's not good enough. If that it were the case, you got a Warrior uniform. They paid you. You had a chance to buck back and say, "Hey, let me take my time." Come on, man. And this is my worst nightmare for Poole. Did we see? Did they give him the bag too soon? Because did Kerr say he's getting defended by better defenders? I didn't like that when it was said.
Why? It's true. That's what
the better you become as a player,
the better you get as a player, the better defensive players then guard you. It's no more than that. I thought you read into that too much at the time, and I think you're reading into it too much now.
Well, that's concerning.
What? That
Guru,
a great
you can
defense.
bat 380 against certain pitchers, but when I bring in the aces, you go bat 210.
Okay, so who's Jordan Poole likely to have more success against at the offensive end? Marcus Smart or Gordon Hayward?
It's the latter. Hayward.
Okay, there you go.
Shout out to Stat. Oh, man.
Gosh, where was I going to go here? Of course, 888-957-9570 is the number. That's also the Xfinity mobile text line. I don't even know the question to ask.
A lot of people on the Xfinity mobile text line going to that punch, Donnie, and I'm not trying to stir it up.
There's so many issues, so there is no question. My feeling is that the punch is absolutely a factor, but it started before the punch. Listen, to me, it was not hard to figure.
Talk to me.
Kuminga and Wiseman and Moody, they want to play. They want to play. They're looking at every peer drafted around them. And they're playing, and they're putting up numbers, and they're at least having individual success.
Yeah.
And the young players want to play, and they're not playing. And you know what? Another rat on the table, it's probably costing them money that they're on a championship team right now. So that's very real. Then you have the champions who are looking at the young guys saying, well, you guys ain't champions. You shouldn't play in the first place. So there's a natural void there. There's a natural chasm between the champions and the guys who haven't done anything yet in their careers. And I got to believe the young players are ridiculously frustrated. And I get it. They're not champions yet. But there's a million different things going on. And, Kuminga, like, how can you ask Kuminga and Wiseman to contribute on a championship team, not any team, not a 500 team, a championship team, when they haven't even come close to figuring out their own game yet? And it's not selfish, they're just worried about themselves. They're just worried about surviving. They're not worried about, can we play championship basketball with Steph, Klay, and Draymond? Well, they're light years from that. They got to...
But guess who didn't play last night?
Who?
And one's not even on the team.
Who?
Wiseman and Kuminga. So just if it's the young guy and the fallout because they're not playing or they got a raw deal, because there's only 3 youngsters when you bring them up, I'm thinking about all 3 of them. Kuminga was sick. Wiseman was not there. So Draymond's not feeling sorry for them to where he's going out not giving his all. It doesn't explain the rest of what I think we're not seeing. And Steve Curry
just said
yesterday,
they're not playing hard. Draymond's not playing hard.
But it's not
and
because
Klay's not playing hard.
Yeah, but the question is why?
It doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they won a championship 4 months ago. So they're not going to. They can't expend championship level energy this early in the year. Klay Thompson
What's
is not.
Curry doing? I'm asking.
Curry's Curry. He's an outlier. Not everybody's Curry. I mean, forget Curry. That's why Curry's so much better than anybody else.
He's the leader.
That's right. He's doing everything. What are you saying? Why can Curry do it? Nobody else?
I'm saying Draymond's plate is not as great as Steph's plate. So if Steph's plate is, you two are going to just lag until December or January, and I'm seeing the captain go out and bust his ass by himself, who the hell is Dre or anybody else to say, okay. No, my point is, and they're not even asking Dre to score.
They're incapable of doing it. Don't you get it? They're incapable of doing it right now.
I don't see Dre coasting, Steiny.
I see him coasting. I saw him coast last night. Do you think Draymond Green is as invested in this team as he's been in the past?
No, and I believe that's because of what he did, punch and pull.
I agree with 415. I don't think the punch divided the team as much as it exposed the division on the present team. I'm kind of with you there. And somebody said to me, hey, what if they would have never had the punch? And some guys started saying, they might be. You know what? Something else would have happened. That's the way that works. Okay, so Draymond Green wouldn't have punched Poole in the face.
Yeah.
Something still would have happened at some point in the season.
But Steiny, okay, on that note, a disagreement, an argument, an almost fight is different than what happened.
Well, what we saw.
And now we're wondering what's up with Jordan Poole. And we go back to
what if Jordan Poole's sitting there saying, I'm better than Klay Thompson? It doesn't go any deeper than that. You know, why am I not starting?
He very well could be saying that. Do you think he might be the only one?
I don't know.
Man,
I don't know.
And I told you yesterday I'd never second-guess Coach Kerr, but I told producer Evan this. I didn't like how early in the season, when you haven't won a road game, his quote, and they're his words, so who am I? But I didn't like, this thing's not going to last forever. I kind of think you say that at the end of the road. I'm going boys to men, maybe on the eve of the playoffs, but to say it, which we know what it is, and it's not going to last forever this early on, and then go out and have a half-hearted effort.
Maybe he's tired of hiding it.
Man,
he's tired of the subterfuge.
That's what's bothering me, because ain't no fix for that if that's what it is. And what Mark, he's telling Drew League. He kept saying Drew. I said, You want
to give me $50 right now? We'll call off that bet.
I had to get gas. Bet 5. But anyway, go ahead.
We bet $100 on the. You said the Warriors were going to win the title. I said they weren't. If you give me $50 right now, we'll call the bet.
I'm hang on. It's too early.
All right.
Because they can make a move.
That's the next thing we're going to talk about. They could make the move. Could they really make a move? And if they can make a move, how good of a move could it really be?